Hey guys, welcome to your next Virtual Towers lesson for your Flip Friday this week. Today, I'm going to run you guys through how to multiply and divide complex numbers. But before we actually get into the multiplying and dividing, the first thing we got to show you is what exactly is a complex number. So as we've been talking in class the last couple of days, we've talked about how there are real numbers, and then there's the imaginary number system that we've been learning about throughout the week. Well, if we actually take a real number value and combine it with an imaginary unit value, we create what's called a complex number. And what you'll notice is that complex numbers are written in what's called A plus BI form, with the A term representing your real number. So for instance, a value like 3, and the BI piece representing your imaginary unit. For example, 2i. Well, if I decide to combine those together, I've created a complex number in A plus BI form. Now for these, the actual math with multiplying and dividing is actually stuff you already know how to do. Multiplication is really just basic distribution or double distribution. As you noticed, your complex number is a binomial. So if we multiply two of them together, we're just going to do our basic double distribution work. So to show you an example of that, you see here in number one, our binomial times a binomial, or complex number times another complex number. Well, what we're going to do is set up our basic double distribution. So we're going to take the 4, or excuse me, the 2, and multiply it with the 4 plus 5i. We will then take our 3i and multiply it with 4 plus 5i. And from there, we're going to do our basic double distribution work. We get 8 plus 10i plus 12i plus 15i squared. Just like when we work in algebra, we can combine like terms. But now a unique feature is our I squared. Well, we know from our powers of I work that I squared is really negative 1. So that last term is 15 times negative 1, creating negative 15. Well, if we then combine the 8 with our negative 15, we wind up getting a final answer of negative 7 plus 22i. And again, what you'll notice is that my answer is written in complex number form, that A plus BI form. And that's how we want all our answers to be represented. Now, if we're presented with something like basic distribution, it is, as an example too, we do exactly what we've done in the past. Basic distribution of our 2i, giving us 6i minus 12i squared. But once again, that I squared becomes our negative 1, and negative 12 times negative 1 creates that positive 12. But we must reorder our pieces, reorder our terms, so that we are in A plus BI form. And that's all there is to multiplication, guys. It's either basic double distribution or our simple normal distribution work that we have done for a long time. Now, as far as division goes, well, we kind of spoke about this in class the other day, that the I value also represents the square root of negative 1. And as we learned from our rationalizing work, we cannot have radicals in a denominator, therefore we cannot have an I in a denominator. So for division, our rules are to rationalize or get that I value out of the denominator. So if we look at examples like 3 and 4, where we have our skill of rationalizing, what we're going to look to do is get rid of that imaginary unit depending on, and the way we will do it will depend on the type of value that we have in our denominator. If we have a monomial, like we see in number 3, we're going to simply multiply numerator and denominator by I. What this will allow us to do is basic distribution in the numerator, and in our denominator, 5i times I becomes 5I squared. And what we notice is that there are I squareds in both numerator and denominator that we can turn into our negative ones. Well, from there, our numerator now cleans up to 6 plus 4I, as negative 6 times negative 1 became positive 6, and we reorder in a plus bi form, and our denominator simply became negative 5. So notice, there's no longer an I value in the denominator, and that is our goal for rationalizing. As in number 4, we're going to use our conjugate. So once again, your conjugate is created by changing the connector of the binomial denominator. And from there, it's basic double distribution. You're going to take care of your work like you would have in the past, and double distribute both numerator and denominator. Your work should look like so if done correctly. So after double distributing, here's what we're left with. And all that's left to do is clean up all the components to the fraction. Well, in the numerator, we can combine like terms. And we also have that I squared creating our negative 1. So after all is said and done, and we combine like terms correctly, our numerator just winds up turning into 8 plus I. In our denominator, a positive 6I and a negative 6I wind up canceling out. Literally, they are gone. And our I squared once again becomes negative 1. When we combine like terms once again, we wind up with 13, as negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9, and 4 plus 9 is 13. Once again, we have rationalized. Our denominator no longer has an I, and we are all set and ready to go. So that's it, guys. As far as our complex number work is concerned, and multiplying and dividing, complex numbers are simply values that are created by combining real units with imaginary units in our a plus bi form. As far as multiplication, your basic double distribution or regular distribution skills are what you're going to need. And for division, our rationalizing skills. If we have a monomial denominator, using just the I that we want to get rid of, and with our denominators, or our binomial denominators, using our conjugate like we did with radicals, and simply doing all the arithmetic that we need. If you guys have any questions, we'll touch base more on this Monday, or we'll touch base more on this in class and review even more on Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed your video. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Have a great day.